Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Debi Rinehart. Hi, everybody. Thanks for inviting me to this. I really am honored to be here. Pre-corona, Memory Cafe here at my library, Puyallup Public Library, took place once a month in the library's large meeting room that can hold up to 50 people. It also has a kitchenette, which comes in really handy, and our donated piano, which I play during the program. Attendees are required to come with either a loved one or a care partner. We've seen folks attend with both options, some regularly. We hope to return to the program once per month, third Friday at 1 to 2:30 p.m. And that time has really worked well for our folks. Memory Cafe is based on music, and as you probably know, music has a special pathway through our brains. My coworker Joyce and I lead the group in singing songs throughout the program, but do many other activities as well. We all participate in short activities that promote memory, such as a new roll the dice game, where the player matches the dice number to a question on a page called Getting to Know You. The question might be something like, talk about a favorite time from when you went to school, or what is your favorite candy bar? We like to have a theme for each program, which usually corresponds to the time of year, a holiday, movies, or places such as Hawaii. Each of the activities is short. Many Reader's Digest stories and jokes have been big hits. We keep the conversation lively and happy. There is much laughter, which is really the best medicine. When a discussion becomes awkward, we gently redirect the conversation into a new activity. Serving the older community in Puyallup through library programs was brought up at an all-staff meeting a few years ago. I offered to develop a Memory Cafe style program because of my music therapy experience at a local Alzheimer's and dementia assisted living facility. My library director approved, and within a few months, we held our first program at the library. Memory Cafe at the library is innovative because, for one, there are not many programs for older adults specifically in libraries. Our director, Patty Ross, tells me often that Memory Cafe is one of her top 5 library programs of her career. It is so unique and reaches an audience that is seldom reached in libraries. It is also a program that is special for the givers and the receivers. Some of the friendships are very dear to Joyce and I. During quarantine, I reached out to one special couple that has attended Memory Cafe for all the 2 years that it's been going, just to make sure they were all right. We have tried physical activities such as balloon toss, but these folks it doesn't usually go over well with them. They're a real high functioning group. They're very social, and they really want to focus on talking, sharing, and laughing. We hope to have a relatable movie viewing for our group led by Pierce County's Aging and Disability Resource Specialist this year. During each program, we offer many types of info about Alzheimer's and dementia. I have bins and bins full of pamphlets, books, and brochures. I also created a big binder filled with resources participants can turn to when they need help. I also have a little station out in the library where that same binder is, and other resources too for folks of the community that might not come to the program. We also provide relevant library materials that can be checked out. We have been acquiring some great materials for our people dealing with these issues here in Puyallup. Here is a recently added book to our library right here. Ooh, there you go. It's called Library Dementia Services. It's by Timothy Dickey. At the end of each program, we sing the same song, You Are My Sunshine, which I played at the very beginning. Then we have snacks provided by the library and socialize. If you're interested in starting your own library memory cafe type program, here's a couple suggestions. We use a huge emailing list of local assisted living homes, other libraries, churches, and activity centers all over the area. We continually ask our email group to help share the info for us. I hope to be able to visit many of the places in the future to spread the word in person. We keep a log of attendees info, and at the library, we post tons of flyers, posters, and use lots of social media to invite the community. I often wear this button here that says, ask me about Memory Cafe. Then another thing that works really well for me personally is I put together a binder. Here's one of our flyers, and here's another one on the back. And this has all my music that I use each time I do a program. Our games are in there. And then also the songs that we have pre-chosen to match the theme that we always use music that relates to their era, and have it all set to go. It works really well. Lastly, I would recommend to keep your program positive. Be patient in all ways. Listening is a must, and laughing is required. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Debbie, and for showing us the opportunities that libraries have to play a part in building dementia-friendly communities. It's so excellent to be a community hub for those kind of resources. I'm looking for questions for Debbie. There's a question, how many people usually attend your Memory Cafe pre-COVID, and is there an optimal size?
That is a great question. I always say our group is small but mighty. We are a very small group. I think the largest we've ever had would be 8 to 10 people in attendance. Many of the times have been 2 to 4 people. But as the library director has said, this is so unique and special. She doesn't really mind if it's one person. It's so needed and so important. So numbers aren't really a big deal. And in fact, small is good.
Fantastic. And a question, are there other memory cafes in the community besides your Memory Cafe?
Yes, there are several. There is quite a large one that is based on music as well, although the participants play their instruments. And I know that has been a real popular one here in the Puyallup area. And then I know there are several others out there that meet in restaurants and usually just socialize and have a small meal or coffee or something like that. And that's how Memory Cafe originally started, so.
Super. And what are you doing during COVID? Are you able to do anything on Zoom? Are you waiting for the library to reopen again?
We are waiting for the library to reopen, yes. Yeah, that just hasn't been a possibility with it. It's a little bit difficult. It would be a little difficult for this group, I feel. So just hanging in there and hoping we can get back to our programs as soon as possible, but being super cautious here in Puyallup too.
Excellent, thank you. One more question, perhaps. So there's a question kind of about registration, or how do you know who's coming? How do you invite new people to come? And the question was, how do you retire people who can no longer participate? So just kind of meaning, how do you manage kind of new people coming in? And if people aren't able to participate anymore, do you do anything on your end, or is it kind of self-selection?
It is really self-selection, and we haven't reached a point where we've ever had to ask anyone to not return. It seems to happen real naturally. There was one person in particular who just no longer came, and I think it was probably his care partner that recognized he was feeling slightly upset about a particular song, or it was connected to World War II, I think. And so I guess it just happened naturally so far for us. We've only, been doing this for 2 years. So, and now of course with quarantine and COVID, we haven't had a meeting for months. But anyway, yeah, we haven't had to face that yet.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, thank you, Debbie. Thank you again so much for what you can show us all as far as what libraries have to offer for dementia-friendly communities. Really love the work that you do, and your enthusiasm around it, and the flair that you presented with your piano. That was so sweet.
Thank you.
I do want to mention there's some resources going up in chat. And also, if you're very curious about how to start a memory cafe, also called an Alzheimer cafe, we have breakout sessions about in-person memory cafes or Alzheimer cafes, as well as virtual memory cafes tomorrow. So definitely consider checking out one of those breakout sessions. All right, our next innovator is about Tai Chi Connections. It's a caregiver and person with dementia duo. Caregiver Laurelynn Brooks is going to be speaking on behalf of herself, along with her loved one, Tai Chi Master Joe Liao. And I'm going to pull up, Lori, your PowerPoint. Just give me a minute. All right, here you go.
Thank you so much for having us be here today. I'm Lori, and I'd love to introduce you to Joe Liao and share how he has created a Tai Chi connection wherever he goes. However, he's a resident at Bellingham at Orchard Memory Care and has been in lockdown since March, over 7 months. It is a care partner exchange where Joe is giving, which is as essential to his nature and his health as receiving care. Our goal is to inspire hope and ideas for your loved ones in your community. Next slide, please. His story begins in Taiwan as Liao, a young boy who studied martial arts and advanced from student to teacher to master. After emigrating to the US, he opened a studio in Burlington, Washington in 1977 to teach Tai Chi and Kung Fu. The next slide. Meditation, and cultural art classes. Through these classes, he welcomed everyone to learn and practice diligence, compassion, balance, integrity, and humility. I was fortunate to join Master Joe's class in 2004 and benefited from his life purpose of teaching us how to create a healthy body and mind, and to learn the life. He remains a legend to his students as Lao Tzu and to the public as Barefoot Joe, inspiring us all to be healthy, happier, and at peace. In 2018, concerned students called me asking, "What's with Master Joe?" We gathered trying to figure out what's happening to Master Joe. How could this happen to our master? We struggled to learn and accept his dementia as we problem solved. We still grieve and are saddened that he's at a memory care facility instead of a familiar studio or our home or even a monastery in his native country smelling bamboo rice or chanting Amitofo. However, as Lao Tzu says, the way's the way. And we moved him to the Bellingham at Orchard Memory Care, where he's resided for 1.5 years. We adjusted with visits and outings on our adventures to ferry rides, on music shows. We'd have fun and we'd meet no stranger, naturally expanding our dementia-friendly circle. For example, while performing from powwows to county fair concerts, student Canute's voice proudly introduces his teacher, Lao Tzu, Joe Liao, who now lives at Bellingham Orchard Memory Care. Can you imagine how you'd feel hearing Canute's voice giving Joe a warm welcome? Joe is on the lower left and Canute's playing his guitar. We could watch this little video for a minute and imagine being there. Thank you. Then COVID-19 hit and sent us into isolation and deep depression. Joe became more disengaged, stayed in his room and spoke mostly Mandarin. Care packages, phone calls, Zoom calls, and private room window visits were attempts to connect. Knowing Joe loves music, I would bring a boombox and the orchard staff would escort Joe to a window for a dance party. Of course, I must have looked ridiculous to the passersby as I danced outside by myself to the music in my own head. It was energizing and exhilarating, yet relaxing, reminiscence of lessons in his studio. Then I replaced the boombox with synchronized speakers, created a playlist from our Tai Chi meditation music, and invited friends. Then the conference room became a studio, and the master returns. We show up for Joe to fulfill his purpose of offering class to help the people. And the next slide. And it does. Friends, family, former students, orchard staff, occasional reporters, and community members join class as the news spreads via word of mouth, email updates, and Whatcom Talk article. And the next one. The result is our Master Joe offers Tai Chi classes to participants gathered on the lawn outside his studio from inside the facility's conference room every Monday and Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. And who benefits? Everyone benefits, especially Joe. Since leading Tai Chi class, the facility staff report Joe is happier, singing and dancing, more cooperative and engaging more in facility activities. The energy flows, attracting Bellingham Orchard residents, not only the caregivers. The cook, Ed, even came out of the kitchen and videoed Joe singing with residents clapping in wheelchairs and seats while Joe's moving and singing up front. Caregivers refer to Joe as the master of moves now, recognizing his potential and supporting his purpose. Jan, the orchard marketing director, says everyone's mood changes when Joe's around. As a result, she's invited Joe to join the orchard resident band. Often other residents watching from inside the conference room are mesmerized watching Joe teach us, and some even join in despite being confined to a wheelchair or walker. Children and grandchildren of other residents have joined our class. You can see them there in the picture. This creates good feelings about visiting a memory care center. The caregivers benefit. Teaching has given Joe purpose and makes him feel happier, thereby making caregiver's job easier caring for him. He's more willing to take showers, join activities, and elevates others. Caregivers who participate in the class get an exercise break and relieve stress with even a short session. Former and new students benefit from unique lessons that keep us healthy, relaxed, and connected through music and movement taught by an authentic master. Our class becomes a circle of support. The public gets involved. Drivers honk their horns when they see us. Passersby stop by curious and report how beautiful we look as we move in unison. The wider community benefits. People read about the class in Whatcom Talk and are encouraged to join. People also have an opportunity to learn about dementia. How is this innovative? Well, it's a holistic win-win program where everyone's honored and invited to join our Tai Chi Connection community. Former and new students, all levels and abilities, even people in wheelchairs are welcome. How's it win-win? Participants get exercise for the body and mind, gain a cultural experience that bridges any language barrier through music and movement, and Master Joe finds his purpose leading our group. During this stressful era of COVID isolation, we're connected and united in our Tai Chi circle that relieves our stress and uncertainty. Please join our class as we watch this video. You might have seen that Joe noticed some of his caregivers and friends out there and wanted me to know. So it highlights and honors Joe's talents and purpose and is a dementia-friendly community. The Tai Chi form has changed, yet Master Joe still teaches us essential lessons. Despite Joe's current challenges, displacement, memory loss, fading of English language communication skills, cultural underrepresentation, and confinement in a memory care facility, Joe creates a unique, energetic experience to sustain himself through his own self-care, which lifts us up as well. We see how he adapts and shines, and we adapt and shine. Because everyone's welcome, a circle of friends and professionals has gathered to support Joe from within and beyond the memory care facility. A bond of friendship, education, and acceptance is growing through Joe's example and our participation. As we see and accept Joe's gift, we practicing our own unique gift and those of everyone around us. Through our Tai Chi connection, we learn how to support each other through aging, illness, disability, and the challenges of this worldwide pandemic. With more good news stories like this, we hope people will understand that people with dementia still have many gifts to offer. We all have opportunities to build dementia-friendly communities. At the close of our Tai Chi class, we learn to say, "Xie xie Lao Su," thank you, teacher. And we'd like to thank Joe for sharing his amazing gifts on his mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual journey. And thank you to his doctors, the support resources, and caregivers who encourage his potential and educate me. And thank you to all the family and friends who are part of this circle of acceptance, love, and hope. We are so glad you're part of it and encourage you to find their gifts. Thank you so much.
Lori, thank you so very, very much for so beautifully presenting Joe's story and for your incredible advocacy efforts to make it possible for him to continue offering his gifts to the community. I hope this sparks ideas for all of us about how to promote uplifting connections between people who live in memory care and the wider community. I know that doing things through the window works for some people and doesn't work for others, but I feel like you have really just honored what works for Joe in order to enable him to stay connected and to be connecting with the wider community. Thank you so, so, so very much. I want to spend a few minutes to look at some questions. I know there's been a lot coming in on chat. A lot of encouraging comments in chat. Thank you, very inspirational. Thank you for recognizing that people with dementia have so much capacity and can still have a positive impact on the community. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing this beautiful story. Very inspirational. If anyone has any question, I think folks are overwhelmed with inspiration. If anybody has a question for Lori, on behalf of her and Joe, feel free to type it into chat. Thank you, Lori, for caring for Joe and sharing this wonderful story.
Thank you, my honor.
Well, I'm not seeing any questions, so I'll keep an eye out, but thank you. Oh, we do have a question. Lori, one question for you. Was the memory care facility open to this program immediately, or did you have to kind of work your way in there to make it happen?
Everything worked gradually, and I had to learn, and they had to learn, and all together. And then I needed a support circle to help me learn how to work with the memory care. And that really helped me facilitate and be a facilitator, and the Caregivers Toolbook and all the classes at University of Washington Brain Wellness really helped me be an advocate and assertive and positive health care partner.
Mhm.
So it was a learning process for all of us.
Mhm. Excellent. Logistics question, do you have music playing outside the window for people attending at the window?
Yes, at first Joe could just hear the music with a boombox inside, and I got dual speakers, and that changed for us too. So we're synchronized.
Mhm. Super. And what's the plan for when the weather turns rainy, etc.?
Oh, well, we have raincoats and umbrellas, and Joe he's so creative. He uses our whatever we need, like a water bottle, as part of the Tai Chi lesson. So I'm sure the umbrellas will be like our fans or our swords or whatever, you know. And I hope eventually when COVID passes, either the class can move into the orchard, or we can move the class out into a park and just invite more people.
Excellent. And what city are you in, Lori?
This is in Bellingham.
Great.
Please come join
I
us.
was gonna say, are we all invited?
Yes, please. Joe will love it. And you will too.
Super. All right. Going once, going twice. Okay. Again, thank you so much, Lori, and please express our thanks to Joe as well for sharing his story today. Okay, our final innovator of this session is Katie Freeman, and she's the Memory Loss Program Coordinator with the Greenwood Senior Center. She's going to share about their early stage memory loss program and the documentary that their participants made. And Katie, feel free to go ahead and share your slides.
Great, give me just a moment to get this set up. All right, thank you everyone for coming today, for allowing me to talk. My name is Katie Freeman, and I'm the program coordinator for the Greenwood Senior Center. I'm here today to talk about a program that I facilitate called The Gathering Place. Now, The Gathering Place is one of many memory loss programs that we offer here at the Greenwood Senior Center. So these programs include support groups, both for folks living with memory loss as well as their family caregivers. And we also offer a number of enrichment programs, including our All Present Song Circle, Gentle Zumba, Dementia-Friendly Meditation, and then The Gathering Place. Most of these programs started when we were still meeting at the Senior Center in person, but they have all proven to be successful in a virtual format as well. So what is The Gathering Place? The Gathering Place is an afternoon enrichment program for folks living with different types of early stage memory loss. This program was initially developed back in 2010 in response to a community need for ESML programming that goes beyond a support group. In our current format, the GP is a 2-hour program of about 6 to 10 individuals. During those 2 hours, we play cognitively stimulating games, we create art, we exercise, we discuss what's happening in the world today, we share our successes, our struggles, and so much more. As the group's facilitator, I create curriculum that is guided by the five pillars of our program, which are cognitive stimulation, cultural enrichment, physical movement, social engagement, and anti-stigma activism. What we do in The Gathering Place is also greatly influenced by the interests and values of our participants. Over the past 10 years that the Gathering Place has been around, it's really developed into a true community space where camaraderie and connection are as important as cognitive stimulation. And in the age of such extreme social isolation due to COVID, I think these kinds of spaces are more important than ever. Research shows us that early stage memory loss programs like the Gathering Place have many benefits to their participants, including strengthened friendships, increased meaning and purpose in life, strengthened brain function, enhanced confidence, and improved self-esteem. And these are all benefits that I've personally seen among our Gathering Place participants. For members of our group, it's so important to participate in meaningful projects that have real purpose and impact. Over the years, the group has worked on a number of projects aimed at reducing the stigma that our society has around living with memory loss. Through these projects, members of the Gathering Place are able to voice their own experiences and advocate not just for themselves, but for the larger community of people living with memory loss. I'd like to now share with you a short documentary that our group has created, which has been shared online and at screenings throughout Seattle. This is an abridged version of the documentary, but you can watch the full length on the website that's listed on the screen.
Can you imagine trying to express yourself about your family or your activities and the words are not there that you've depended on all your life? You feel abandoned by your life, by your words, everything just seems to go.
I was in a restaurant and we were having a dinner for the family. My trimmers were going to town and I noticed that the waiter who came up asked for everybody's meal. She looked at me and didn't ask and turned to my wife and asked her for me. I interrupted it and she went, "Oh, you're alive." I mean, it had that flavor. Well, yeah, people, when they hear that you have the condition, it influences the way they address you. And often it's not, it's negative.
It is scary and it is frustrating, and you need to ask people to help you.
I just ask. I'm not afraid to say, remind me what was so-and-so and how do you do this or that. I'm not saying I like it. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather not have it, but I've accepted it, I think, quite well.
Anytime you can talk openly about anything, it's a positive experience for all parties. A lot of people won't do that. People just sort of go within themselves and they don't talk. And I think that's a big mistake.
It's quite helpful. You start having some problems, you think, well, I'm the only one that, but no, you're not. Everybody has problems like that and similar to that, so you're not alone.
We care for each other. Relationship, fun, food, and laughter.
You're talking to people who understand what you're talking about.
And they can understand, you can understand, oh, I remember that, and oh yeah, that happened to me too. You know.
It's helped me so much coming here by joining in things that I normally wouldn't join in.
People have to learn to be a little more tolerant than they may have been at one time.
Well, just remember that we're human beings. It could happen to anybody.
If you sense that a person has a need and they're open to it, you should do something about that. You can't ignore it and, you know, be an ass.
Be patient, that's all, with yourself and with the people you're trying to communicate with.
Listening. Listening is a good thing.
To all those folks with memory loss, do not give up hope. Do not be frightened.
Make sure other people understand that you have memory loss, so that it's not something you feel ashamed about or embarrassed about.
It's one of those things that I think the society has made it a fearful thing. And, you know, that life does go on, and you can turn it into positives.
It's important to be able to laugh at myself. I think humor is probably as good a medicine as there is, and I absolutely love it.
We'll keep moving forward to always.
Let your light shine. You'll be glad you did. That may seem kind of syrupy, but the fact is it's the truth.
The world and ourselves needs compassion to see it through.
I love myself. I'm still here.
All right, I've watched that so many times and I still find it so moving. But we have that documentary as well as a number of other anti-stigma programs that we've created at the Gathering Place. And some of these projects you can see on the screen include this Faces of Memory Loss handout. And this handout puts a friendly face on a condition that many in our society would rather ignore. We also have our Dear Friend letter, which is addressed to anyone who has been newly diagnosed with memory loss. This letter conveys a message of hope and solidarity, stating, "We have found that sharing what we are living with lightens the load and allows us to lessen stigma surrounding memory loss. We would like to give you hope that you too can live a full life. There will be obstacles to come, but you have an opportunity to give back to your community and yourself and to experience beauty, happiness, and kindness." These anti-stigma projects, they do a great job of educating the general public, which is essential if we're trying to create a dementia-friendly community. But perhaps more importantly, these projects reach out to those who have been diagnosed with memory loss and they say, "You are not alone in this. It's going to be a hard journey, but we'll get through it together." Ultimately, that message really is the heart of the Gathering Place. You are not alone. We will get through this together. And for me, this is the program's true innovation, its true importance, recognizing that, like all of us, people living with memory loss deserve a space where they can feel connected, seen, and understood. We love visitors to our program. So if you ever come visit us at the Gathering Place, you can expect to talk, laugh, cry, move, dance, create, learn, connect, find purpose, make change, and to live your truth openly and honestly. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Katie, for sharing the program on behalf of the Gathering Place and your participants. So appreciate that model of what a senior center can offer in terms of dementia-friendly communities. And I know the Greenwood Senior Center is well known even nationally for the programs that you're offering.
It's a special place to work at, that's for sure.
Time for a few questions for you. So logistically speaking, is there a cost to participate?
Yeah, so there is, when we were meeting in person, the program was a little bit longer, so it was $35 a session. I think meeting virtually, we've changed it to $25 a session, and there are always scholarships available if the cost is a barrier.
Great. And a question, so you said you've been meeting virtually now. There's a question around technology. How do you engage older adults in the technology? Is it working for everybody? What do you do for folks that can't access the technology? So those types of questions.
Sure, and that's definitely a challenge that I think we're all still trying to figure out. So the folks who are joining our program virtually, typically they have either a spouse, an adult child, or a caregiver who can help them access the Zoom links. There's some troubleshooting, especially in the beginning when we were just starting out, but we've been pretty successful so far. There have definitely been some drop-offs in our program, in that folks who started out in our physical program just can't access the virtual program, just because that barrier of technology is just too high, unfortunately. One of the things that we're trying to do to address that is at the Senior Center, we have a weekly a training session for Zoom. So anyone who is new to the program, new to using that technology, can join a class and kind of learn how to use it.
Excellent. And I just posted the link to your video. Someone asked, are they able to post it to social media? Are you?
Oh, absolutely, please do.
Great. Any last question for Katie through chat? Seeing a lot of thank yous, a lot of very empowering, insightful. How do you get art supplies to participants? Okay, so if you're doing something from home, do you provide?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now in our virtual format, we've been sticking to like pen and paper, that kind of thing. So keeping it very, very low key. I do know of another program in Seattle, Elderwise, and they will actually deliver art supplies to participants in their program. So it's kind of up to whatever program you're attending, but we have had a model of folks actually delivering those supplies and getting them to folks, which I think is great.
And let's see, the question of which city is Greenwood Senior Center in? It's in North Seattle. Is the program subsidized by the city at all, or solely participant supported? And this will be our last question.
Yeah, so we do receive grant money from the city of Seattle. And that's one of the reasons why we can keep costs low, and we can offer scholarships when they're needed. We're also part of a larger community organization called the Finney Neighborhood Association, and so we get funding from them as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Katie, and thank you again to all of our Innovation Showcase presenters. We really appreciate the inspiration and the opportunity to think about all these different kind of sectors in our community, again, from persons with dementia, family caregivers, and senior centers, museums, libraries, long-term care facilities, and others, how we can all play a part in making sure our communities are inclusive to people with dementia. Thank you, thank you, thank you.